Joining us here on Mic Drop Sports. Thank you all so very much. I'm your host, Jason. As always, we are diving in, man, and I'm so glad, so glad some veteran players are now speaking up. Cam Heyward leading that charge. He's had enough. He don't want to hear it. And we're going to dive into that about the Aaron Rodgers situation, about the quarterback situation, and what Cam says shows me a lot about what he thinks about Mason Rudolph. So we're going to dive into all that stuff. Miss P, what's up? Nick Steelers, what's up? Good to see you guys in the chat early. Make sure you're waving those terrible towels for Miss Pittsburgh. Appreciate you. But thank you guys for joining us so very much, man. Truly appreciate it. Again, double tap that screen. It's absolutely free to hit that like button. Send us out to that YouTube algorithm. And again, what a time to be alive, man, here on Mic Drop Sports. So if you're not watching it now, you can watch it later once it uploads. But we are diving in American Militia. What's up, man? Pittsburgh Steelers for life. Amen, man. Amen. Good to see you guys. Good to see you, man. Good evening, guys. So much going on here. And it's still just the off season. And it's still like we're not even in mini camps. We're not even into the draft. We're not even into any of these things. Yes, I agree, Robert. Way to go, Cam. Guys, Cam Heyward's breathing a little bit of life back into this Steelers. What's up, Lindsay? What's up, Zah? He's breathing life back up into this team. And it's not by anything crazy. He's not doing anything crazy. He just simply put something into basic perspective here. And that is what I got to applaud Cam Heyward for. He's putting some oomph back into the Pittsburgh Steelers off the field. If you don't want to be a Steeler, then you don't. No skin off his back, and he does not give two shits. And I believe that's a lot of how a lot of players in that room, a lot of players in that building are thinking right now. I truly believe that to be true. I really am firmly believing that a lot of players are believing that to be true right now. That either you want to come here or you don't, man. It's the end of the conversation. And these other players are tired of being asked. They don't want to be bothered by this conversation. They don't want to be asked about this over and over. A 41-year-old quarterback is the least of their concern, is the least of their issues, is the least of the things that they want to talk about each and every day. They don't want to deal with it. And I don't blame them. And the sheer arrogance of Aaron Rodgers alone already causing disruption without even being signed, without ever even stepping foot inside of that building. Aaron Rodgers never came to the Steelers facility, never even came to meet with people, never even talked to people in that way, never has really showed any interest in any of these teams. He's just kind of fucking Aaron, baby. 41 fucking years old to do what the hell I want to do. That's the attitude this cat got. Buddy, you're 41 years old. I don't know what you want people to do. You're not some 21-year-old phenom coming out of college to where people are going to walk around trying to wipe your ass and kiss your ass to be able to come into your building and give you 18, 15 good years. That's not the case. You're not that guy. You're not that dude no more. Roberta Campbell, what's up? It just amazes me, man. And I'm so thankful that Cam Heyward spoke up here on his podcast. Daniel Warman, what's up? At the end of the day, he's a cocky ass that will retire, and he already knows it. What's up, man? Yeah, dude, I agree. I think he already knows he's retiring, and I think it's actual damn shame that he hasn't just said, you know what, guys, I'm not coming back to play football. I have no interest in playing football. Why support a guy that all he cares about is collecting a check? Let's be honest. Super Bowls aren't his thing. This guy hasn't won a Super Bowl since he beat the Steelers. And he's only won one. And he played for the Green Bay Packers, so I don't want to hear about not having a good team behind him. Bullshit, dude. The Packers always put a solid roster out there year in and year out. I don't want to hear that about Aaron Rodgers. Has he been an MVP type player? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I got to say this, guys. He should have won a hell of a lot more titles than he did. One. American Militia. Aaron is doing spiritual drugs in Central America, trying to figure out his next move. Donald Driver and Greg Jennings. Yeah, man, he played with some phenomenal talent up there in the city of Green Bay. Robert Rhodes says ESPN says some crazy stuff, but saying today that Dart could go in the top 10 along with Ward and Sanders is not a crazy opinion. The Saints and Raiders both need a young quarterback. I agree with you, Robert. That's why a lot of fans here in Steelers Nation think that the Steelers are going to be able to have a chance at Jackson Dart. I don't think that's going to be I don't think that's going to be the case. Is he worth going out there to trade up for? I don't know. I don't know how you feel about it. And if you're Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin, do you have enough of the resources currently sitting right now that you're comfortable making a move to jump up for a Jackson Dart? Is he that kind of a talent? Or would you be willing to go with the Tyler Shuck? I think that could preserve some of your draft capital for next year with a far better quarterback class, in my opinion, coming out in the 2026 draft. So maybe you got some options. You got some doors open. So Aaron Rodgers isn't the only thing that you can do. Russell Wilson posting workout videos and shit again. Russ, you got to learn to throw across the middle of the field, my friend. And you can't run like you used to. You Green, how do you feel about Dylan Gabriel? Good. Scott Chafin, I don't think he's the answer. Robert Road, we aren't trading up this year, drafting Pittsburgh 2026. Yeah, I don't think they will either. Maybe they will. We don't know, Robert. Maybe they will. I don't think so. I seem to think what you think. I don't think that they will trade up this year. I think 2026 is the time. And I don't say that just because the draft is in Pittsburgh in 2026. I say that because I think the Steelers are going to be armed with a lot of draft capital. 4 compensatory picks in probability right now, I believe, to be able to have it at your expense next year. So also the possibility of maybe even moving any type of player from now until then to even gain more. Maybe perhaps your season doesn't work out the way you would want it to, but yet you're able to get a little bit higher value draft pick. There's a lot of things that could switch this up, but again, I believe the Steelers will be loaded up with draft capital in 2026. Miss Pittsburgh, the Cleveland Browns got their eyes on Shedeur Sanders. It's a shame, though. I don't want to see any young quarterback go to the city of Cleveland. All they're going to do is destroy that young person's career. Thankfully, Baker Mayfield was able to crawl out from underneath their bullshit. And I thought it was a real bad thing when they didn't pay him. It was bad for the Browns. It was bad that they didn't retain him because they were on the right path. But it was really, really good thing for Baker Mayfield. It may not have seemed at the time to be the right move, but Baker Mayfield was able to go and really make a name for himself down in Tampa and get paid some bucks, man. I think he's decent, but I'd rather draft a better quarterback in a year or two. Yeah, there's lots of options, man. There's lots of options. Lindsay, they need to do something. Yeah, they need to do something, and I think that answer is drafting a young quarterback in this draft and next year. You take your swings now, man, and figure it out. Mason Rudolph is the answer, guys, and I believe Cam's comments put a lot of faith into Mason Rudolph. Showed a lot of real faith and trust in what Mason can do. I really do think that. When you have that kind of an answer, that's kind of an answer saying, you know what? Fuck it, man. I don't want to hear any bullshit. I trust in two. Two is that guy. And I know people don't want to hear that from me. And that's okay. You may disagree. But two is the guy that can guide you for a year or two. Mason Rudolph is not a bad quarterback, my friends. Mason Rudolph is not a bottom-of-the-barrel quarterback, my friends. And the Pittsburgh Steelers once thought that to be true also. And do you think for 1 second they would have brought him back if they thought that he was some terrible option? No. They ain't that desperate. Mark Malone, hopefully we trade back for Dart, Howard, Shuck. You're not going to be able to trade back in the draft for Dart. But you could get Shuck or somebody back in the draft. Now, to trade up, yes, you could maybe get Dart there. I think Dart's gone by pick 15. I think so. And I'm being generous there. I believe he's gone within the top 10, truly, but I'm giving a little bit of extra. So we'll say within the first 15 picks, Jackson Dart is selected in the NFL draft. Zach Curry, I think Con Artist will get us some more picks under 100 for the draft. We had 4 under 100 last year. Yeah, you gave that away for DK, so, you gave that number 2 pick away. We'll see how it all transpires, man. Con's usually been decent here over the last couple years of making sure that you have some top 100 picks, no doubt about that. So maybe he does, we'll see what happens. Mark Malone, we don't need to trade up for the next Jamarcus Russell in 2026. Yeah, man, what a disaster that was. But that was a lot of Jamarcus's doing too, but he had a big arm. Man, that was just a tough situation. Man. But hey, wasn't the Steelers, so. Robert Rhodes says, we don't even have a second this year. At this point, next year is when they will be movers and shakers. Yeah, and guys, too, yeah, they don't have a second. But what if they trade somebody off, What if they come to the realization that this isn't that year? Maybe they don't, and trade something off. Maybe you gather some other draft capital, rather. Kenny deserves the Browns. Yeah, he deserves the Browns after whining to get out. Kenny Pickett, some people were, a little sympathetic about his situation. I am not that person because when you ask for something, you get what you deserve. Period. Roberta Campbell, I would think that Cam speaking up like that, the franchise should know he can't be the only player feeling the same about Rodgers. Well, absolutely not, Roberta. I agree, 1,000%. I believe that Cam speaks for a lot of people inside of that building. I believe Cam's voice is the voice of many inside of the Steelers organization. And if Cam's saying it, I'm sure there are many, many other people that are definitely thinking and speaking the same types of sentiments that Cam put out there. Scott Chafin, they won't draft a quarterback early this year. They won't make that Kenny Pickett mistake again. Yeah, I don't think this draft is good enough quarterback-wise to go up there and make any type of crazy move because you're really rolling the dice on 3 of them. Jackson Dart, I believe, honestly, guys, I hate to say it, I don't know if Cam Ward and Shedeur are the best 2. I don't think so. I love Shedeur. I think Shedeur's really, really good. I love the way he works. I love the way he plays. I think Cam Ward's really, really good. But when I watch the tape of these guys and I'm looking for NFL attributes, what I'm looking for as a NFL quarterback, I don't know if they possess that. Now, yeah, they run that college shit, that RPO shit. They run it really, really well. But, man, if I'm looking for a guy that's going to be able to win Lombardis, I don't know if that's – I just don't know. I'm not sold on anybody right now in this draft. I'm not. I like Tyler Shuck, and I keep saying it. I don't know why. I've watched his tape so much here over the last week, and, man, am I sold on this guy. I don't know why, and I know the injuries. I know all of it, and I didn't before. But I really just dove in, and I don't know why. He looks the part for me. I just get that feeling from him for some reason. Like I got about Jaden Daniels last year. He looked the part to me. Jaden Daniels in last year's draft, he looked like an NFL quarterback to me. He looked like a guy that could win a Lombardi trophy. And I don't know why. I just got that feel from him. And I'm getting that same feel from Tyler Shuck, and I don't know why. I don't, and I'm not going to pinpoint it on one certain thing. I just get that vibe, man. And sometimes it's not about every little statistic. Sometimes it's just about a vibe you get. That's all. Hold on, where are we at? Mark Malone, he can make all the throws. Jackson Dart, yes, Jackson Dart can make all the throws. I would have liked to seen, how they put the highlight contemplations together and you watch those on YouTube or whatnot. I would have loved to seen a little bit more of him throwing across the middle, but when he did throw, he was thrown with anticipation, real force behind, real velocity behind the football. And I like that about him. And he wasn't afraid to throw it over the middle of the football field. You didn't see any hesitation. When he wanted to pull the trigger across the middle of the field, he did. And I admire that. in a big way, and he wasn't afraid to check it down either. And that's another thing I really want to see from some of these guys. I want to see the ability to utilize that middle of the field. That's so important, guys. And who better to know than Pittsburgh Steelers fans right now, because we don't have a quarterback that is thrown across the middle of the field with great numbers here as of late. And thrown across the middle of the field is a must. You have to make these guys guard all three divisions of the field, the middle and the edges. You have to make these defenders respect you in all those places. And that frees things up in the middle of the field in terms of the underneath game. That frees things up in terms of the run game. You got to be able to utilize all three of those portions of the field. I have said all along I wouldn't take Rodgers even if he was free. Ben had a better career than Rodgers, yet the NFL was over the moon for him. Makes no sense. Yeah, Ben had more Super Bowls. In terms of passing yardage, Aaron has beaten him there. In terms of touchdowns thrown, Aaron has beaten him there. He's thrown about 501, something around that area, 500, 501, something like that. So he has Ben beaten in touchdowns. Ben has thrown more interceptions, but when it comes down to being a guy that won Lombardis, and that's the only statistic that matters to me, that Ben wins that category. Ben has won 2, and he's lost 1. His record is 3-0 in the big game. Aaron Rodgers has only made it to the big game once, and he's won it against those Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger. However, Ben Roethlisberger has played in 3 Super Bowl games. 2-1 in that game. And that is the only statistic that matters to me, my friends. I don't know. And some people may knock that, whatever. But that is what winners look at. Championship rings, championships, period. And that's what I look at. And if I'm going to gauge careers, Ben edges Aaron in that. Maybe not in statistical categories, but Ben Roethlisberger is a winner in terms of championships, and he's got to be edged above Aaron, in my opinion. If you had Aaron and Ben and you had to pick which one was going into the Hall of Fame first, and there was no way to put them both in at the same time, and they were both sitting there, and they both had the same opportunity, they both retired at the same time, they both had the same stats they do right now, I pick Ben, and I pick Ben why? Because he reached the mountaintop of the most important achievement in the NFL more times than Aaron Rodgers. That's why I pick Ben. Mark Malone, I don't think anyone takes Dart high. Maybe not Mark, but I don't know. I seem to think Dart goes within the first 15. It's going to be a crapshoot, brother. Zach Curry, what happened with the Titans record when Rudolph was there? Is that the possible hate people have for him being our quarterback now? Well, no doubt about it, Zah. People are going to look at that time in Tennessee, that one brief season that he spent in Tennessee. But we all got to take it into perspective also, guys. They were an absolute shit show down there. They were an absolute disaster. It was like a bomb went off in that building. And that franchise was just in disarray. That football team was horrible. And it's hard to put everything on Mason Rudolph there. Does he shoulder some of the blame? Abso-freaking-lutely. But, guys, it is hard to do much. It's hard to do too much. And I'm just saying, you got to take into account the situation. Now, I'm not giving him a free pass from it. But I'm going to look at both situations. What did he do in Tennessee, and what did he do to finish out that time with the Pittsburgh Steelers? I'm going to weigh both of those out. I'm going to look at both of those things if I'm Omar Khan, and I'm going to figure out whether or not that's the best opportunity for us. And lo and behold, it seems to be right now. We did that. Steve Winters in the house. Hey, Jason, always good to join your show, my friend. I know everybody has their opinions and speculations, but seriously, do the Steelers take a quarterback in the first round, or do they go nose tackle? I think there's a possibility. If Jackson Dart is sitting there at 21, absolutely they are taking a quarterback in the first round. They are going to take Jackson Dart, 1,000%. I can say that with 100% certainty. I believe that wholeheartedly. Now, if Jackson Dart doesn't make it that far, I think they could go defensive lineman. I think they could go several directions, but defensive lineman wouldn't be a bad one. But absolutely, if Jackson Dart is available at 21, they pull the trigger and they take Jackson Dart. What's up, Big Tom Ford in the house? Honestly, I don't think the Steelers should sign Rodgers. Me either, man. Danny George in the house. Thank God we got Mason back. He should be starting. I agree, man. Even if you draft a young guy and it's Mason and a young guy, you got to start Mason Rudolph, guys. You got to. You have no choice. And I'm not saying that to downplay anybody that they may get. Maybe whoever they get is better instantly than Mason Rudolph. But let that young person gather themselves. Let them learn a little bit about the league. Let them see some of the speed a little bit. Let them figure it out just a hair and then get them involved a little bit of a time. And maybe you do have them in there by midseason full go. Maybe you do. But I believe you just don't throw them to the wolves, especially with the fan base as passionate as the Pittsburgh Steelers early. Ben Roethlisberger was a little bit of an outlier. Why? Because he came in for an injured Tommy Maddox in Baltimore, ended up doing really well, went 15-1, I believe, that season. So definitely was a little bit of an outlier, but still, you got to start Mason. He's got to get the opportunity. And if there is a young guy in the building, you allow them to come along. And you don't throw them to the wolves week one. But maybe that person... There's so many variables, guys. This is all hypothetical talk. All right, guys, thank you for joining us again here on Steel City Live. Make sure you're double tapping that screen, hitting that like button for us here on the channel. Still not feeling 100%, but we are rolling here, man. I don't know what the hell kind of flu bug is going around, but man, has it been crippling. Danny George, we did that. I want to draft Jackson Dart from Tom Ford. Daniel Warman, was injuries a big factor last year? Or do you think Tomlin burnt them out with his game plans? I don't think injuries was overwhelming for the Steelers in any way, in my opinion. I mean, the offensive line was beat up a little bit, you know. I mean, I believe that they had no more injuries than anybody else, you know. I don't think it was just an overwhelming thing for the Steelers. I think the simplistic game plan just catches up with them eventually. And I believe also Mike Tomlin's unwillingness to make any type of real adjustments really kills this football team. And that's not a lie. That's not something I made up. That's telling the truth. The proof is in the pudding. There are several instances last year where Mike Tomlin could have just shook things up a little bit. And I'm not saying you even had to bench Russell Wilson, but you could have sat him down halfway through a game or something and let Justin go back in there and maybe build that momentum back up for you to insert Russ again. Maybe that's what this team needed. But Mike Tomlin refused to try anything. They never came out and did anything different. The game plan looked the same both offensively and defensively. There was no real shakeup there, guys. And that is a coaching error. That is a coaching flaw. And that's probably what happened. In terms of being burnt out, I don't know if burnt out is the word I would use because everybody kind of did that, but the Steelers did have a very difficult schedule. They played a tremendous amount of high-seeded playoff teams throughout the last part of their season, but that wasn't an excuse, and you can't use that as the crutch. But was it reality? Yes, but you can't use that as the excuse. Mark Malone, I was talking Rudolph making all the throws, LO, but Dart can too. Yeah, I like him both. I like Mason, man. I do, bro. I think he can make all the throws. You're exactly right. I keep saying it, and it's getting annoying, but the Steelers should trade for Hendon Hooker, quarterback that plays for the Lions. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Tom, but I can't see trading for anybody right now. I can't see giving up any of the draft capital because why go out there and get somebody that's already been in the NFL? I just want to swing for some new people. The Steelers have done this already. They've done the Band-Aids. They've done the trading for people. They've done all that. They got Justin Fields. That was a trade. They've done all those things. I think the answer now, Tom, and I can see why you want to do it, and I'm not downplaying it. But honestly, what the Steelers need to do now is turn over a new leaf and go back to something that they haven't done for a long time. And that is go after, young talent and just swing at that for a couple years and not try to make any of these trades, not try to get themselves pinned into a corner by spending draft capital and things of that nature on players that already are in the league. Go after some new, fresh, young, exciting talent and try to build your franchise that way. I think that's the path the Steelers have to take. I admire Hendon Hooker. I don't think he's a bad ball player. But what do you give up for that player? You know, there's a lot of variables at play there when you could just simply sit on some of this draft capital, ride Mason Rudolph for right now, and swing for the fences inside of the 2025 and the 2026 draft. Pack says, you guys gonna grab AR-12? No. No. I don't think Anthony Richardson wants to play football. I don't know why. It just seems to be the reports. Scott Chafin, when was the last time our number one pick made their fifth-year option? Oh, I don't know, buddy. I don't know. I'd have to look. I'm sure it's not been. Oh, wow. I don't know, bud. Good question, Scott. I don't know off the top of my head. Robert Rowe, Dart is a better athlete than Shedeur, but Shedeur is more accurate and did really well behind a terrible O-line and no running game. Shedeur carried that offense at Colorado. Dream scenario, he falls. I wouldn't be opposed to drafting Shedeur. I'm just not trading up for Shedeur. You know what I mean? I like the way Dart plays. I like the way Shedeur plays. If I had to pick one or the other, man, I got to pick Dart. Why? Because I just feel I feel that vibe from him. You know what I mean? I'm not discounting. I'm not saying he does anything better than Shedeur or anything. I just get a vibe from him. Shedeur, great talent, works his ass off, doesn't get in trouble, doesn't do nothing crazy, is a real teammate. He did carry that Colorado offense, no doubt about it. He did everything he had to do right. I think Shedeur will be a quality NFL talent. I do. But we'll have to just wait and see how it all pans out. I think there's 4 guys in this draft that you could really watch that are going to have long NFL careers, in my opinion, that are going to dole it out for the guys to be the best out of this draft. And that's Shedeur, Cam Heyward, Chuck, and Jackson Dart. Those are the 4 guys that I'm watching right now. Justin Fields is soft for leaving the Steelers. That's from Adam. Scott says Fields didn't trust the Steelers. He chose the money. Someone, if I went 4-2 and got benched for Grandpa from a shitty trade to the Broncos, I'd leave too. That was from someone. Well, they didn't trade for Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson was just acquired out of the free agency market after he was let go by the Broncos. The Broncos picked up $38.5 million of his salary, so Russell Wilson made $40 million last year to be the quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers, basically because of the Broncos. So Fields was acquired out of a they just needed to get rid of him type trade. So the Steelers spent a 6th-round draft pick on Justin Fields because he had to play 51% of the snaps in order for that to be a 4th-round draft pick. And I, too, would have been pissed to get benched after going 4-2, but Mike Tomlin made that executive decision. However, once he realized that it might not have been the best decision, he wasn't willing to change. And it seemed like Russ kind of held Mike Tomlin hostage. The stardom of Russ in his past life as a Seattle Seahawk kind of held Mike Tomlin hostage. What Russ did long ago held Mike Tomlin hostage, and that was kind of a weird situation. TJ Watt is our last player to get the 5th-year option. Wow, okay, Robert, that's been a minute, man. That's been a minute. TJ's in double-digit years. Zach Curry, watch Justin come back in a couple years. That would be hilarious. Yeah, it might be. Leprechaun says, we need Bradshaw right now. No, he's doing a Baker. That's from someone. Leprechaun, we need to lose every game next year to get a number 1 quarterback. I don't think that to be true. I still think you can get it done. Steelers found Ben Roethlisberger without being absolutely dog shit terrible. I mean, they were not good, but they weren't terrible when they were able to get Ben. Boxing Men 1. Mason lost his job to Duck. Never forget. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think there were some more variables there, Boxing Men 1, than We'll just leave it at that. I think there was more than meets the eye. But we'll see what happens because I really thought Mason improved too. His 4-1 record going out as a Pittsburgh Steeler. All right, guys, make sure you're double tapping that screen, hitting that like button for us here on Steel City Live. We're always chasing at least 100 likes. It's absolutely free to hit that like button. It costs you $0, my friends. So go ahead, hit that like button, light it up. That's the way creators continue to make content without ads in it. I can simply add the ads if we don't want to hit the like button, but I trust that you guys can do that. Hit that like button for us as we live stream throughout the time period here. We're on Steel City Live. So don't forget, also subscribe to Mike Drop Sports. It's a place to come for daily Steelers content, NFL content in general. And we are here each and every day having real truthful conversations. So continue to help support us. We truly appreciate that. Super chats are always welcome. I'm trying to get through the chat as best as I can. Will Howard or Quinn Ewers to the Steelers. That might be the case, too. You don't know who's going to be there when you have the picks, man. I don't think I would roll either one of those guys out in the third or fourth round. Mark Malone Foster said 5 of Mason's interceptions clanked off a receiver's hands. Yeah, and that's from Ramon Foster, a guy that covers the team down in Tennessee. So, again, guys, you have to weigh every variable. It's just not off face value usually. The last time there was a good quarterback situation for a QB in Tennessee, Marcus Mariota was playing. Yeah, and he ended up not being very good either. Boxing Men 1, Jackson Dart sucks. I don't know what you're watching. I don't know, Adam. He's a pretty decent quarterback in this year's draft. He said, who's Jackson Dart? Zach Curry, Dart is a potential quarterback for the Steelers, one of the quarterbacks in the upcoming draft. Thank you, Zoff, for such a nice answer to those guys. I think they were just being a little bit, Scott Chafin, he played for Ole Miss. Yeah, he's talking to them. Someone. I just looked up the Dart. He looks like Kenny Pickett with tattoos. I'm not sold. You didn't really watch him that much, man. You were just there's no way you watched a ton of his stuff, to really formulate a solid real opinion about him. I'm not dogging you. Milton sucks, dude. Milton blows. The great thing is we didn't sign Russell Fields. That's from Mark Malone. I agree. Cowboys are back at the bottom again. They never left the bottom since 1995, Leprechaun. Devin Burkett, we will know a lot more than when Rodgers come back from his darkness retreat and smoking peyote as to where the quarterback situation is headed. Yeah, what a shitty place to be in. Oh, Z, you should drop the boys in your name. What are you talking about? Someone the Steelers need to trade up round 2 and draft a raw talent quarterback like Milroe and suck for a bit with Mason and starting. Milroe sucks, dude. Steel 43, volunteers, not hostages, right? Shaking my damn head. Absolutely, man. Guys, Cam really, I'm telling you, he came out with something more important in this offseason I think a lot of people were even putting stock into. This is a major headline for him to say this. If you're Aaron Rodgers, you can't not but hear this. And I got to say this, if I'm Omar Khan, when Cam said this told me basically that Aaron Rodgers ain't coming to town, man. I could just tell you that. That's just my opinion because guess what, guys? Yeah. Cam basically put his foot down and said they don't want this old guy. And let's not forget the comment made from Deshaun Elliott earlier in the offseason. A guy that played lights out for the Pittsburgh Steelers at the safety position last year. What did he say, guys? Keep Aaron Rodgers' ass back at the care home. Who's hating on Travis Hunter, man? Nobody. Travis Hunter's a phenomenal talent. OG Timmy Sports, what's up, man? Keep being great, my guy. You deserve it. Mike Drop Sports, let's freaking go. Absolutely. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Ben has more passing yards than Rodgers. Oh, he might. Rodgers, I know, has like 500 touchdowns. Ben does not. He has like 400 or something. He has like 100 less than Rodgers. Matt Burton, if you were talking about retirement, you were already retired. Take a pass, please. Absolutely. Absolutely. Why deal with a guy that's just floating around? Well, do I want to play or don't I want to play? What am I doing here? Dude, wow. Be the Steelers. And I think Cam, with his comment, brought a little bit of that back. I thought he brought back a little bit of the toughness for the Pittsburgh Steelers by simply saying, look, buddy, we don't give a shit if you come here. We could care less if you come here. You either want to or you don't. Who cares? Enough with the talk about it. And that's all the national media wants to talk about is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers, where will he go? Where will he go? Frankly, who gives a shit, guys? Who cares where Aaron Rodgers goes? He does not make the Pittsburgh Steelers better than they were last year. I'm sorry, he does not. I don't think so. He's 41 years old, guys. 41 years old, and he's a guy that's coming off an Achilles injury, a guy that had a team in the Jets that he handpicked, didn't win games there. Yeah, he threw 28 touchdown passes, but it is what it is. I just don't buy it. I don't like the way he presents himself coming into the building either. Mason Rudolph was done so dirty by the league. He was attacked by Kyle's thug, Criminal Garrett. He was playing better than anyone else at the time. Yeah, once that Myles Garrett situation went down, guys, we all have to be realists and honest about it. You know, Mason's career stalled. It died. It was over. I don't know. I don't know why there's so much hype and love for Myles Garrett, man. I don't. He's a guy that absolutely disappears in the biggest moments. Guys, last time they went down, their playoff game that they had down in Houston, he was nowhere to be found, and they took a ass beating. C.J. Stroud whooped that ass. Crushed them. Spanked them. Sent them home embarrassed. And the whole back half of that season, what did he do? Nothing. Nick Herbig had more sacks than him. A guy that played 5 or 6 defensive snaps a fucking game. But yet, Myles Garrett is just amazing. He's just so great. He's the best there ever is. I don't know what we're looking at. I don't. When he plays the Steelers, 9 times out of 10, he don't do shit. Am I making that up? Yeah, he looked better toward the end of the year, no doubt. I'll give him that. But, man, we don't got time in Pittsburgh. If you're going to bring Aaron Rodgers in and you're going to pay him around $40 million, $35, $40 million, you don't really got time to fuck around, you know? You really can't fuck around to wait and find out, you know? You don't want to be in that situation because you're burning up a lot of capital that you could be spending elsewhere to build this franchise into a real Super Bowl roster and then insert young guys and allow a guy like Mason Rudolph that could play behind some of these great superstar players that you're putting in place and get the job done and get Tomlin his 9-10 win season that he so covets. Football fanboy edits. I'm Cincinnati fan. My dad's a Pittsburgh fan. What about Tomlin and quarterback? What about him? Tomlin sucks, and the quarterback situation is what it is. I think Mason's a hell of a quarterback. I think if given the right opportunity and the right team around him, I think he could be rather successful. All right, guys, we need you to hit the shit out of that like button. Double tap that screen. Double tap it, man. It's real quick and easy. It's absolutely free. Double tap that screen. Hit that like button for us, AD. Thank you. Buxman Jackson Dart is this year's white quarterback hype job. What are you talking about, dude? Another racist in the chat tonight. How crazy. I've never been in such an embarrassing moment for our country, man. Everybody got to play that race card, dude. Like, give it a break. I have never been more embarrassed for our country than I am right now. I mean, let it go, bro. Stop it. This bullshit every night in the chat of trying to act like people don't like certain quarterbacks because of the color of their skin. You're very shallow for saying that. Just stop it, man. It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for you saying it. And this has not just been the same person. Last night it was some idiot named Brandon. Tonight it's Boxing Men 1. I don't care what color quarterback you are. You could be purple for all I care about. I want you to, do you win games? Can you stand in the pocket and use your mind and pass the football and be highly accurate, anticipate throws, use your athleticism when you have to? And if the answer is yes to those questions, that's the guy I'm looking for, whether you're purple, yellow, green, blue, whatever. I don't give a fuck. Don't care. Don't matter. Doesn't matter. Zero to me. But yet everybody wants to talk about this when who did I say was the best quarterback in the draft last year? Jaden Daniels. What color is he? I forgot. Exactly. We need to take a shot up to a franchise quarterback. Last thing we need is an old washed up quarterback for $40 million. Yeah, you don't need to pay all that money, man. You don't have to. Oh, you're talking about Aaron Rodgers. He was 8 last year. I don't know why people call him AR-12 still, Tom. I thought they were talking about Anthony Richardson. I don't know why anybody's calling Aaron Rodgers AR-12. He was 8, so AR-8. I would have known maybe who they were talking about. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate you. Dart has high confidence more than any quarterback we've had in the last 5 years. Devenberry, A415, don't need to take a break in the middle of the battle through Anthony. Yeah, I don't want a guy that quits in the middle. Fred Dog, 420. Next year's draft is way better for quarterbacks. Yeah, and a lot of us believe that. A lot of people out there that are fans of football believe that. A lot of people that watch the NFL believe that next year's draft in 2026 is definitely far more superior than this year's draft. But yet, you're going to have one of those shockers come out of this draft here in 2024. You're going to have one of these guys that maybe a lot of you guys out there are just discounting, including myself, maybe rise to the top and become a real superstar. And I think that guy's going to be Tyler Shuck. If given the opportunity, I believe he succeeds. And I believe I think that he is a guy that's built for the NFL. And I think that if he gets the opportunity to behind the right franchise, I think he can make all the throws and really be a very dangerous weapon for some lucky franchise. I hope that franchise is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I want the Steelers to get Dart or Shuck. That's what I want. That's my personal opinion. Let's keep going. Robert Rhodes says Hooker makes a lot more sense than Milton. Hooker would have been a first-round pick instead of a third-round pick if not for torn ACL. He has played very little being behind Goff, third or fourth. Do it. Yeah, he would have been. I would take him over Milton too. I agree with that one. I wouldn't mind seeing Scatterboo in black and gold. He is a hard-nosed, smash-mouth type of player. I wouldn't mind it either, Devin. Zach Curry, can we get some likes for Mike Drop Mafia? Absolutely, man. Can we? The key man, can Rodgers just sign with us and take a run at a 7th Lombardi? I don't know if he makes you a Super Bowl team. And I'm going to say this. It's not that I don't know. It's that I'm saying he won't make you a Super Bowl team. He is not that type of player anymore. He's not a team transformer anymore, guys. That's not who Aaron Rodgers is at the age of 41. Claude Bishop with a super chat. Jackson Dart equals Kenny Pickett. Thank you for the super chat, Claude. Appreciate you, man. And you may be right. You may be exactly right, Claude. I don't think so, but you may be exactly right. Time will tell. You know what I mean, my friends. Thank you again, Claude. Appreciate that super chat, my friend. Again, guys, double tap that screen. Get them likes hopping up for us here on Steel City Live, only on Mike Drop Sports. Also, super chats are always available. I'm going to continue to try to get through the chat as best I can. I'm going to skip around a little bit. Do Steelers wait to get Arch Manning in 2026? Yeah, but you're going to have to be in a prime position for that, Patrick. And that's why I said if Arch Manning's a guy that you're eyeing, you got to make sure you have a tremendous amount of draft capital in order to probably facilitate a trade. Because I don't foresee the Steelers to pick within the top 5 of the NFL draft ever. I just don't see it. Let me get a drink, guys. In the meantime, I think at least a couple of you could double tap that screen and smack the shit out of that like button. Patrick Charles says all those MVPs and only one Super Bowl. Absolutely. That's going to be the same story with the guy that they all anoint to be the greatest right now, and that's Lamar Jackson. Everybody wants to bow down to Lamar Jackson each and every week. Everybody wants to say how great Lamar Jackson is. All those MVPs, and he's not going to have any Super Bowls. That's what we're going to be saying about Lamar Jackson. All those MVPs, but no Super Bowls. And I don't want to hear that he doesn't have a good team around him, because he does each and every year. Juan Costa, do Steelers fans really want Aaron Rodgers to start for them for the season? I don't know. Some Steelers fans probably do, but some Steelers fans probably don't. I don't know. I can't speak for the fan base. I can speak for this fan, and I can tell you that I don't want him to start for the Steelers next year. I mean, if they do it, I'll be rooting for him, of course, because I don't want the Steelers to suck. But I'm also a realist, and I can tell you that I believe that he isn't going to be very good. Tom Ford, I heard there's no way the Steelers would ever sign Russell Wilson back. I heard he leaked info to Jerry Dulac about offensive coordinator during the Bengals game. Yeah, that's true. I don't know about leaked information. I guess it was heard. I guess it was an actual, an actual tense moment there that it kind of wasn't hard to figure out. You had Russ trying to aim for a certain direction with the offense, and Arthur Smith trying to go a different direction with the offense, and whether who was right or wrong, that's neither here nor there. They weren't able to come together on what their ideas were, and that is an issue, man, no doubt about it. Steel Life Cam has said his pitch to A-Rod, he was being a Steeler. What does being a Steeler even mean anymore? That's not a pitch. Steel Life, that's not what I'm talking about. Cam isn't pitching to Aaron Rodgers. You're reading into something that you're reading it all wrong. Cam Heyward said that you either want to be a Steeler or you don't. And that is something better for the Pittsburgh Steelers than sitting out there trying to recruit people. You don't kiss people's ass to come to your franchise. You want people to want to come to your franchise. Don't be soft and sissified and bullshit. Guys, that shit of calling people going, come play with us, please. We're so great. We need you so bad. You're the missing piece. That's for fucking losers, dude. That's for fucking losers. Cam finally got it right this year and said you either want to be a Steeler or you don't. No skin off my back. That's how winners talk. That's how winners act. Guys, wake up. Wake the fuck up. You don't recruit people in the NFL. This isn't fucking college. You sign people in the draft. They come play for you. If they don't want to come play for you, fucking let them sit out. Who gives a fuck? This is the NFL. This isn't college. This is the NFL. You don't kiss people's ass to come into the building. And when you start kissing people's ass to come into the building, you start to resemble teams like Arizona, Miami. I'm just naming shitty teams off that suck ass. That's what you start to resemble. The Jets. That's what you start to look like. Wake up, Pittsburgh. You don't got to behave that way. And Cam Heyward said it best. Don't come here. We don't care. He isn't recruiting anybody. I get what you're saying, Steel Life. Who would want to come to this team right now? But how do you change that? By not begging people to come. And to do what? Work your ass off every day. Show that you're willing to change. Show that you're willing to adapt to today's NFL. And that falls on the shoulders of Mike Tomlin and that coaching staff. The players have to just show up and work their ass off and put their nose in the books and understand the game plan. Let everything else fall at the feet of the coaching staff. That's what you do. That's what you do. That's how you get back to that. Agreed, Jamal. You don't wait for nobody. Who cares what Aaron... Guys, if you offer somebody $40 fucking million, whatever they offer, just say we'll be fair to the Steelers and just say they offered Aaron $30 million to come play for him. If you get offered $30 million fucking dollars to come play football at the age of 41 and you have probably one of the worst attitudes I've ever seen in my entire life, your own family doesn't even speak to you. Your own brothers, mom, dad, they didn't even speak to him for years. That was a big to-do. I'm not kissing your ass to come. After I offer you all that money and you're sitting on it? No, thank you. If he would call me today, if I'm Omar Khan and he would call me and he'd say, Omar, great news, man. I decided I want to be a Pittsburgh Steeler next year. I'd be like, no thanks, bro. Yeah, you go play for the Giants or some shit. We'll holler at you. Click. That's what I would do. You know what is so... I got to say this now. And let me get a drink. This has been pissing me off about Mike Tomlin, and I keep forgetting about it. I am so sick of him having googly eyes on the fucking NFL gridiron, having googly eyes at certain players, and then trying to kiss their ass to come after they're out of their prime. Russell Wilson, now he's doing it with Aaron Rodgers, having googly eyes. Oh my God, you're so fabulous. Now that you're out of your prime and everybody's got all the good out of you, will you come play for me? I'm Coach fucking T. That's how he looks. Guys, am I the only one that sees this shit? He's fucking weird, man. He's spineless. He's fucking weird. That's weird. You see Bill Belichick doing that shit? Hell fucking no. Hell no. Oh, Miles is so mid when you have to jump around the line to get through to the quarterback. You ain't that good with enough guys blocked. I'd get through the quarterback too. Yeah, man, Miles ain't that great. Devin Burkett, not to mention Miles' criminal thug Garrett committed assault with a deadly weapon on live TV, and they blamed Rudolph. Yeah, what a fucking weird situation there too, you know? Yo, bro. Jude Daniels is dude. You talking about Jaden Daniels is doo-doo? You don't know football, bro. I don't know what game you were watching last year. TJ Black, people said Bo Nix wasn't worth first. Look at him. You got to take a shot. I still don't think Bo Nix is all that in a bag of chips. I think he's a solid player. I don't think he's like great, like oh shit, like Bo Nix. I think he's a solid player. But you're right, TJ. You got to take a chance. You never know what you're going to get, man. Jamal says, Bill Cowher said Russ is the best quarterback for us next year. What do you think? I think Bill's wrong. I think it's Mason Rudolph. That's just my opinion. That's all, Jamal. Just my humble opinion. Let's keep going. All those MVPs, Orlando. David Youngkin Rodgers wants nothing but attention. That is it. Jamal says, you don't have to read all my BS out loud, bro. You're my brother from another color, always in forever. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Now, I'm just picking random ones out, though, but I appreciate you, Jamal. Orlando says, also, can you tell me how to fix the Chargers, my favorite team? I think the Chargers are doing a phenomenal job of fixing themselves. I think you got a good head coach now. I think you got a stability there. You have a good franchise quarterback in Justin Herbert. So I think the Chargers are fixing themselves. You went out there and you got a guy like Joe Alt last year in the draft. I think you're making all the right moves. The one move that I think you reached on a little bit, that was paying Najee Harris $9.1 million. I don't believe he's a $9.1 million a year running back. That's just my opinion. Don't worry, overrated Tomlin is going to sign a 20-year extension. Thank you, Orlando. Appreciate you subscribing. Thank you to Orlando Clem for subscribing to the channel. Dart is a bigger, more athletic quarterback than Pickett. Dart has a big arm and doesn't have small hands. Dart is a much more talented quarterback draft prospect than Pickett. That's from Robert Rowe. G Stacks in the house. Could Mason have a Geno Smith type resurgence? I think it's absolutely possible. I think we could be talking about Mason Rudolph in 2 years from right now. In the summer of 2026, I think we could be talking about Mason Rudolph possibly getting a $100 million contract somewhere. I truly believe that if given the right opportunity. If God puts it in the plans and makes it to where Mason now gets that opportunity that he hasn't got, a real true year or two at the helm of a good football team, I think that Mason shows that he can get it done, and I think, honestly, the Steelers will end up finding that young guy that they want to go with over the next 2 seasons. But I think Mason could really earn himself a tremendous payday and earn himself some real respect within the NFL. I thought what Geno Smith did was absolutely amazing. And I really love Geno Smith, the way he plays, the way he approaches it. He's calm, cool, collected. Geno busts his ass each and every day, and it showed. He got paid some bucks, man. And Geno's a guy that definitely is very serviceable inside of the NFL, but was once cast away, but was once written off. And exactly, Mason could come out of the same situation, you know? What's your thoughts on trading Pickens, and what kind of compensation do you think we get for him? Fuck A-Rod, he's playing mind games with the Steelers. I think that trading George Pickens is in the options of something you could do. Now, whether you get a third or a second for George Pickens, that's to be determined, but I think you'd probably get a solid second, in my opinion. But do you want to do that? Do you want to put yourself in that situation? Man, I don't know. I don't want to go back to being a one-man band at the wide receiver position. I think DK Metcalf and George Pickens duo in 2025 will be absolutely lethal. And you could franchise George in 2026 if need be and control him for the next 2 seasons and team him up with a guy like DK Metcalf and allow Mason Rudolph to play and not have to spend that money on a quarterback. And you could keep 2 tremendous wide receiving talents, also while allowing guys like Calvin Austin III, Roman Wilson, whoever, Scotty Miller, whoever you got in there. That'll have to be seen too. But man, guys, you can be cheap at the quarterback position. So that's why I say don't go out and pay Aaron Rodgers right now. Swing for the young guys and use Mason Rudolph right now that you paid $8 million to have over 2 seasons. Ride that wave and allow yourself to have an exciting wide receiver room and build this roster into something really super that some young man is going to get behind and probably win a championship early in their career. If not, Mason Rudolph to do it. I'm telling you guys, you don't need fucking crybaby Aaron Rodgers. All right, guys, let's double tap that screen. Let's hit the shit out of that like button. It's absolutely free. Super chats are always open. And thank you for joining us here on Steel City Live. We're going to continue for a little bit longer. But again, thank you so much. If you're not subscribed, what the hell are you waiting for, man? Join the channel. This is the place to be, man. Subscribe to the channel. We truly appreciate it each and every time somebody subscribes and become part of the Mic Drop Mafia family. Aaron is a terrible teammate. He takes no accountability. Yeah, everything's somebody else's fault, man. That's what pisses me off about Aaron Rodgers, and that was a big thing last year when it was always the wide receivers, and it was always their problem, and it was always somebody doing something different. It was just always somebody else's fault, and he's the guy that handpicked the team. He's the guy that got the coaches fired. He's the guy that did everything there, but yet it was everybody else's fault. Claude coming in with his second super chat of the show. Thank you, Claude, very much. If the O-line holds up, then the sky's the limit for Mason. And Rodgers is a cancer who is embarrassing the Steelers right now. Absolutely. And again, guys, if you look at it from the perspective, and Claude is right, if the offensive line holds up, you can play behind that. You can play with those guys on the edges. It's going to free up a tremendous tight end talent in Pat Freiermuth and Darnell Washington. It's going to free up Jalen Warren. It's going to make defenses play you honest and not be able to load the box. The pressure on the quarterback won't be as crazy as you've seen here over the last couple seasons. It will just benefit the Steelers in a big, big way to continue to add weapons. That's what the Steelers need to focus on. Quit being blinded by the quarterback bullshit. Quit being blinded by it, Pittsburgh. Omar, open your fucking eyes. Mike Tomlin, open your eyes. Quit being blinded by the same old bullshit. You don't have to do it, guys. Roll with what you got in Mason Rudolph. Thank you, Claude, again. Appreciate that. And Aaron Rodgers is embarrassing the Steelers. If you were Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin, I'd be scared to show my face. I would be very embarrassed right now with the way Aaron's treated you. He is basically spit in the face of a cornerstone franchise of the NFL. And they have sat back and taken it and still want to kiss his ass. This ain't crashing out here. This is telling the truth, Jacob. That's what we do here at Mike Drop Sports, baby. It ain't all bullshit. It's truth. No bullshit up in here. That's the motto. NFL, NBA edits. How do you feel about DK Metcalf to the Steelers? Absolutely fantastic. What do you mean, how do I fucking feel? He's a fucking monster. I've been asked that question every day since he fucking came to the Steelers. Guys, what do you mean, how would you feel? I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm not trying to dog you, NFL, NBA edits. I'm not. I've been asked that question so much. How would you fucking feel picking up DK Metcalf? Fucking good. Good, man. I feel fucking awesome. Come on. Fuck, dude. Fucking football. Don't say the Chargers, but definitely mention the Raiders. Fuck the Raiders. They suck. That's what I think about that fucking football. That's your name. I'm not talking shit on you, if for anybody that hasn't noticed. That's his actual screen name. I feel like I got a snag. Hopefully I brushed it off. But anyway, fucking football. The Chargers fucking blow, and the Raiders fucking suck. Just all in good fun, man. Just all in good fun. All right, guys, make sure you're beating the shit out of that like button for us here on Steel City Live. Super chats are always welcome. Thank you. And if you aren't subscribed to this channel, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. It's Steel City Live. That's the show. It's Mike Drop Sports. I'm your host, Jason. It's the place to be. Fred Dog 420. I thought Tomlin likes volunteers, not hostages, and that's exactly where we are, hostages to Aaron Rodgers. Absolutely. Mike Tomlin speaks a lot of bullshit that you all buy. A lot of you Tomlin lovers, man, that think Tomlin does no wrong. He contradicts himself so often, it's borderline fucking sickening. We don't live in our fears. You don't adapt. You don't push the ball down the field. You don't throw over the middle of the field. You don't fucking try anything when you're behind the chains in a big way, like 3rd and 15. You're going to run the ball right or left to Najee Harris or some bullshit run play to fucking whoever, some dumb shit off the fucking bench. I'm just saying, you live in your fears all the time. You play in an ultra-conservative way. Your defense plays in an ultra-conservative way. You live in your fears. He contradicts himself there. Big time. And then when he says he wants volunteers, not hostages, the only one that actually is meaning that is Cam fucking Heyward right now. That's the only one that means it. Mike Tomlin's going to kiss somebody's ass. Oh my God, I'm so starstruck by Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to go lick his you-know-what. Because, man, I want him so bad. I know he's 41, guys. But come on, he's Aaron Rodgers. I'm a super fan. That's what he acts like. Man. Jamal says Tomlin does not look bad for this. I think he does. Jamal. Coach T needs to be more aggressive and get younger at quarterback. Yeah, Aaron, I agree. The Band-Aid is a situation at the end, and that's the biggest thing. And Mike's got to change. Do I think Mike Tomlin's a bad person? No. And I'm not saying that, and I know many people want to think it, but I don't. But I'm telling you, he has to change and adapt a little bit, guys. You can't quit. All the Tomlin lovers out there that think, again, that he can do no wrong, you have to make sure this guy starts to follow through and starts to adapt and change and be a real head man. You can't be the fucking guy if you're not going to shoulder the blame. You can't only be there in the spotlight, but run away when times get dark. You can't do that. I'm sorry, you can't. As long as we keep spending cap money, that lowers the chance of Rodgers coming here. Keep spending. Yeah, spend it all. Get rid of fucking any chance to get Aaron Rodgers. Guys, the cap is a fictitious number. I will say that, but they can make it. They can make money. They can make it rain somehow. TJ Black, looking at half-empty milk when he can have a full cow. Absolutely, man. Jacoby Jones. Keller Galvin, we should trade TJ Watt, DK Metcalf, and Ninjas. I didn't know we had Ninjas on the team, man. Phil the Fifth, he been drinking much more beers. Weenie Mason. Red card for Zaw Curry. Armand in the house. You in the 8 weeks gotten gear and really doing great. Ripping Pittsburgh management. New asshole. Way to go. Thank you, Armand. They need Rip the new asshole because I'm done. Guys, I'm not going to sit here this whole offseason and dig through this summer with you all and lie to you about this fucking coaching staff. I'm not going to sit here and act like they're going to win a Super Bowl for the sake of Steelers fans' feelings. I'm not going to sit here and do that. I'm not. I'm going to tell you the truth. Most of you all know it. There's a few that will unsubscribe. I have many people that literally, the minute I say something they don't agree with, they'll unsubscribe. Then you'll see them again in a couple weeks. They'll subscribe again. And if I say something good about the Steelers, they'll be in the chat. They'll be hyped. They'll be pumped. And then the minute you go against it, it'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe you said something about Mike Tomlin. Oh my God, I can't believe you said the Steelers suck. Then they unsubscribe again. It's just the natural progression of this thing, man. Kevin, Rudolph has a great arm. He can get us through a year. Jacob Porter, don't sleep on my GOAT. Mason Rudolph, the AFC North appreciates his greatness. Bow down to the GOAT. #2. Armand, last day. Thanks, Armand. I appreciate you, man. G says, G Stacks in the house. 434 says, Aaron Rodgers acting like his brand is bigger than the Pittsburgh Steelers brand. Yeah, and honestly, there's not enough room for two egos, Mike Tomlin's and Aaron Rodgers. I think it would be an absolute disaster. And is Arthur Smith going to want to adapt to do exactly what Aaron Rodgers says? I think the answer is no. I don't think Mike Tomlin will want to do it either. I think that answer is no. I think it's has the potential to be one of the most catastrophic free agency signings in NFL history ever. And people can say I'm crazy for saying it. We'll have to see if it ever plays out. Maybe we'll never know. But I truly believe it would be one of the most catastrophic signings ever. Jamal, you get me going, bro. Gotta love Mike Drop Sport. Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. Reluctancy, I tell all of my Steeler friends that you all are taking Will Howard in the second round. Will Howard is not a second round talent, Jacob. Not at all. And the Steelers don't have a second round pick. Sorry for screaming, guys. Some people, man, it chaps my ass. You got to at least know where they're picking, cuzzo. I'm not dogging you, Jacob. I'm just fucking with you. But you get a flag. You get a flag. 15 yards. You got to know where they're picking before you make your comment. Tomlin punted the ball fourth and inches in a close Bengals game. Absolutely, man. Living in his fears, man. Sitting over there going, oh, God, I don't want to live in my fears anymore. Oh, God, what am I to do? It's 4th and 3/4 of an inch. What am I going to do? I have a 6'3" quarterback in Justin Fields standing over here. Man, maybe he can fall forward. I don't know. I don't know if he can pick up a 1/4 inch. I don't know. That's the type of coach you're dealing with, guys. All right, couple super chats coming in, guys. Let me go ahead and answer these guys. Mind Hayes 24 with the super chat. Hope you all get Josh McDaniels as your next head coach. Laughing. Please, no. Please, no. Thank you for the super chat, Mind Hayes. Next super chat coming in from our friend Too Evil 2 Hope in the house. Tomlin is why the Steelers can still be a team. He deserves 2 extensions. The Steelers need to accept they are now the Pittsburgh Aaron Rodgers. Hey, whatever Mikey wants, Mikey gets. Whatever Mikey wants, Mikey gets. Thank you, Too Evil 2 Hope. Mike Tomlin does deserve that lifetime contract because I think Art Rooney II is perfectly happy with making sure that Mike Tomlin just simply secures his non-losing streak record and continue down that path. And as long as that's intact, the Steelers are great. They're happy. They're doing it. I believe that that's the new standard. I hate to see when the Steelers website on here on YouTube, when their channel posts, the standard is the standard, episode 2. The standard is not the fucking, what are you talking about? Hit that like button, guys, for us here on Steel City Live, only here on Mike Drop Sports. I'm your host, Jason. As always, we're diving through. Let's keep going back to the chat. Michael Hedegaard. Rodgers is acting like he just won MVP and he's the hottest thing on the market. Absolutely. He just come out of the fucking care home, man. He just took off a first pair of Depends for the morning after his trip. I mean, come on. I think Aaron's biggest worry each day isn't picking the Steelers or the Vikings or the Giants or whatever. Is whether he's going to have tapioca pudding or is he going to have chocolate jello pudding. I think that's his two biggest things. Raiders suck. You guys are fun, though, man. I appreciate it, man. We all razz each other about our teams and shit. You guys will put them in there. And I'm not being a dick to you. When you guys put your favorite teams in there and I say, oh, they suck or they're dog shit or something, it's all good fun. So don't get your panties in a ruffle. It's just all for fun and excitement. So it is what it is. Jacob low-key loves the Steelers. Hey, yeah, everybody low-key loves the Steelers, dude. Everybody's Daniels added 6 TDs on the ground while Knicks rushed for 4 TDs. Knicks 33 total touchdowns to Daniels 31 total touchdowns. I still like Jaden Daniels, man. I'd still take him all day, every day, Robert. That's just my personal opinion. I get what you mean. And again, guys, stats ain't all it for me. You know what I mean? There's a lot more to it than just that to me. Jaden Daniels won a playoff game, you know? That's big. That's big. To me. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to get through. Patrick Charles, is Lockett still available? Yeah, Lockett is, but he's 32 years old, you know, released from the Seahawks. Is he somebody you could probably still bring in and contribute for a year? Probably. But you got to realize, too, that he's not going to be a down-in, down-out type player, man. He's a guy that's going to be a situational type player. The separation probably isn't there as much what it used to be. It's definitely something that you would really have to take into account and really already have a solid room in place. Lockett's a guy, though, that can still get some things done, but he's got to be a 4th or 5th option at this point in his age and this point of his career, in my opinion. Again, you don't want to get real old out there. You want young, fresh legs that are hopping, man. And the real height and prime of these wide receivers' careers is like 26 to 30. That's when they're at their absolute best, in my opinion. Because I feel like they know a lot. They may not be as fast as they were when they were 21, but the game has slowed down for them. Their intellect is a lot more. This is American passion here. No matter what's going on, we can come together to talk football and cheer for our teams. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I agree. 11 concepts, 11 Steelers need a new OC. Bryson, we should get Anthony Richardson. He sucks, Bryson. And he gives up. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer had a very shiny nose. Man, I miss Mason, boys and girls. I missed him. All right, guys, we've been going for about 73 minutes here on Steel City Live, and we are going to wrap it up. Thank you for an exciting show. Thank you for all the viewership, all the likes, the super chats. Much appreciated. If you didn't get to catch it live and you're just joining us, it'll be uploaded here in a few. You'll be able to go back through and definitely check out the show. But make sure before you leave, guys, to double tap that screen. Hit that like button for us here. Show some love, man. I keep the show absolutely ad-free. So show some love by hitting that like button for us. I truly appreciate it, man. But thank you, guys. I agree, Robert. Thank you, Za. Appreciate it. And everybody out there have a wonderful, fabulous night and a great day tomorrow. And we'll be back tomorrow evening with Steel City Live once again. Maybe something else will hop off here as the Pittsburgh Steelers and the rest of the NFL continue to push toward that NFL draft. You know what, guys? There's been a lot of news, and I haven't really done a lot of mock draft stuff. Sean and I gave our first 2 picks for the rounds 1 and 3, but that's about it. So we'll get there. We'll get there. But thank you guys so very much. Oh, wait, another super chat coming in. Let me answer that first real quick, man. Hold on. I don't want to miss a super chat and answer it. This is from Michael Hedegaard, what do you think about us possibly taking Jalen Milroe in the draft? I don't like it. Small hands guy. a guy that I'm just not a fan of. I'm really not. I can't get on board with him. And when I watch him, he doesn't scream out to me NFL talent. That's just my opinion, Michael. I would rather go with several other guys. I mean, if he's the last ditch option out there, sure, why not? Take a swing at him, bring him in. But if I had to pick, that's not the guy I'm going with. Thank you, D. I appreciate that, man. So one more person hit that like button, get us up to 60 before we bounce out. But we're about to roll here. Again, thank you so very much. What a great show. It's been absolutely amazing, guys. You guys have been awesome here. And we're rolling, man. Appreciate you all. See you on the next one. Thank you so very much. See you tomorrow.